In episode 3, we learned to stop seeing pain as the enemy and start recognizing it as a quiet teacher, training our mind, little by little. But once we've found our footing in the storm, a new question begins to surface. Is what I'm holding on to really mine? And that's exactly where we're headed in episode 4. What you own isn't really yours. A journey into letting go, so we can finally be free. What if everything disappeared tomorrow? If you knew everything would disappear tomorrow, how would you live today? Don't rush to answer. Just close your eyes and let the question echo in your mind for a moment. Most of us live as if everything we have will always be there. The people around us. The home we're still paying off. The job we think is stable. The little habits, the big plans. And that quiet but powerful belief, there's still time. But what if, one day, it all vanished? You wake up one morning, and your job is gone. An email says you've been let go. Your bank account is wiped out after a market crash. You look around, and the house isn't yours anymore. The family photos are still on the walls. But your heart feels empty. The real pain isn't losing what you owned. It's losing the illusion of control. That belief that if you just do everything right, you'll be safe. But this isn't a fictional scenario. It was reality for millions of Americans in 2008. When the global financial crisis hit like a tidal wave with no warning. And today, we're going to hear the story of one of them. A man once called successful. Proud of his car, his house, his kids' college fund. And like so many others, he lost everything. Not because of a huge mistake. Not because he was careless. But simply because life doesn't follow our logic. And then, something strange happened. At what felt like the lowest point. In the darkest night of his life. He found something he didn't know he still had. Himself. We talk so much about success, goals, and the next big thing. But few ever ask. If I lost everything, what would be left? When the outer layers are stripped away. You're not your job title. You're not the number in your bank account. You're not the version of yourself others expect you to be. So, who are you? Memento Mori. Remember, you will die. A core phrase in Stoic philosophy. It might sound dark, but in truth, it's one of the most important reminders a modern human can hear. You will die. Everything you're gripping so tightly will pass. All the things you stress about today will fade into memories or disappear with you. And that's not depressing. It's the key to living deeply. Let's go back to that question. If you really knew everything would vanish tomorrow, how would you live today? Would you still check email 12 times an hour? Would you still lose your temper in traffic? Would you still brush past your loved ones without really seeing them? Or would you laugh louder at your child's silly stories? Call someone you haven't talked to in years? Sit quietly for 5 minutes, no phone, no noise. Just to feel alive? And that's why we need to live deeply. Because everything will pass. Your career, your reputation, your ego, even your body. But how you live, how you feel, love, show up, will leave something behind. Not just in you, but in the people around you. You can't hold on to everything. But you can touch everything deeply, while it's still here. So now, let's keep going. Let's explore the story of one man's collapse, and his quiet rebirth. A man who found himself again, not through anyone else's help, but with a pen, a notebook, and one ancient reminder. Memento Mori, remember, you will die. And because of that, live. Part 1: Collapse, and a rebirth from a notebook. Michael never imagined his life could fall apart. And definitely not this fast. Before 2008, he was that guy people talked about at dinner parties. Michael? He's consulting for a major investment fund. Just bought a new place in the suburbs, it's beautiful. Kids go to private school. Wife stays home full-time. He drove a brand new SUV. Wore a Tag Heuer watch. Played golf with clients on the weekends. Life felt like a smooth highway, fast, straight, unstoppable. Until the bubble burst. 3 months. Everything was gone. When Lehman Brothers declared bankruptcy, Michael thought, okay, just a temporary shock. But by month 2, his contract was cut. No firm was hiring financial consultants during a market crash. His investments vanished. He sold the car, then the stocks, and eventually the house. He couldn't afford the kids' tuition. His wife sank into depression. They moved into his parents' cramped basement. The same basement he swore 20 years ago he'd only ever return to, for a visit. Never to live. Every morning at 4 a.m., he slipped out quietly to work. As a kitchen assistant at a Korean restaurant. Not for the paycheck, it barely covered diapers. But because he needed something. To remind himself he was still a person. I thought about ending it all. Michael recalls standing in the bathroom one night. Staring into the mirror. Not recognizing the man staring back. Patchy beard, hollow eyes, slumped shoulders weighted by shame. He remembers thinking, if I disappeared, maybe at least my wife and kids wouldn't have to carry this burden. And then, one winter morning, something shifted. It wasn't a miracle. No opportunity fell from the sky. No one showed up to rescue him. It was just a podcast. Playing from a dusty kitchen radio. As he scrubbed the floor with cold water. A calm voice read aloud. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Marcus Aurelius. Michael froze. The quote wasn't new. Anyone who'd read a bit of Stoicism had heard it. But that morning, it hit him like an arrow to the heart. If I could leave life right now, Would I want to live this same day again? He didn't have an answer. But he knew one thing. He had to stop and look within. That night, he began to write. Not to complain. Not to stay positive. But to listen to his own voice again. He grabbed one of his son's old school notebooks and wrote, I am not the job I once had. I am not the number in my bank account. I am not a failure. He didn't know why it helped. Only that after 5 pages, his heartbeat finally calmed. The next day, he wrote again. How do I feel when my child looks at me with worry? What's still worth being grateful for, even now? If tomorrow was my last day, how would I spend today? Writing, day after day, became the first medicine he ever prescribed to himself. From pages to peace of mind. Slowly, Michael began to detach from his past. He stopped chasing the dream of getting back to where he was. Instead, he used the page to explore a new version of himself. Someone who listened to his fear, instead of running from it. Someone who began accepting that control is an illusion. Someone who woke up not to get rich again, but simply because he was still here. Journaling, Stoic style, didn't win back the house. It didn't fix the stock market. It didn't convince society to give him back his place. But it did something more important. It helped him sit with himself. Without hatred. Without shame. Without the need to run. And sometimes, that's the real beginning of a whole new life. Part 2 Memento Mori. Remember death, to truly live. Memento Mori, it sounds like a curse. But in truth, it may be the most important reminder of your life. It's an ancient Latin phrase. It means, remember, you will die. Not to scare you. Not to make you anxious. But to wake you up. Stop living like you'll live forever. When Michael's life was crumbling, he didn't give up. He started living differently. Gone were the 5-year plans from his Wall Street days. Instead, each morning, he asked himself 3 simple questions. If today was my last, what would I say to my kids? Did I truly live last night, or just go through the motions? If everything disappeared, what would still remain of me? No one told him to write these things. There was no reward for filling those pages. But every time he wrote, he felt just a little less afraid. Writing, to truly see yourself. Have you ever sat down and written out your thoughts? You start facing the feelings you usually avoid. You stop performing because no one's watching. And slowly, you peel away all the layers society has stuck to your identity. I'm the guy who makes good money. I'm the strong man who holds it all together. I'm the father who never fails. Michael used to believe he was a failure. But as he wrote, he realized, no, I'm someone learning how to stand back up. Remembering death, to choose how to live. When you truly remember that death is real, You begin to choose more intentionally. The conversations you want to have. The people you want to keep close. The things you'll never put off again. Michael stopped explaining his financial situation to others. He started calling his kids more often. He smiled at the mailman. He reopened books he'd once set aside for when life calms down. And every night, he wrote one line. Did I live today as if there were no tomorrow? Not every day was perfect. But every day was real. What's scary isn't death, it's living half alive. Stoicism doesn't teach us to love death. It simply reminds us not to forget that it's coming. Because when you truly remember death is on its way, you can't live halfway anymore. Memento Mori, it's not pessimism. It's a quiet tap on your shoulder, saying, hey, time's not waiting. If there's something you need to say, say it. If there's someone you love, love them. If there's something that scares you, face it. Michael used to live as if everything was guaranteed. The steady paycheck, the 401k, the investment portfolio, the college fund for the kids. But Memento Mori taught him this. Nothing is certain, except one thing. I'm alive right now. And I can choose how to live today. And sometimes, that's enough. Michael's journals were never perfect. There were coffee stains. Scribbled handwriting. Days where the pages were blank because he was too exhausted. But when he looks back now, he doesn't see the journal of a broken man. He sees a map. The map of someone learning how to come back to life. Each sentence, a stepping stone. Each reflection, a real breath. Each question, a doorway back to the present. You don't have to lose everything to remember you're alive. Memento Mori, remember, you will die. But before that happens, you still have a chance to live deeply, fully, and awake. Part 3. Impermanence isn't the enemy, it's the truth. One evening, Michael sat on the front steps of his parents' house, where he and his family had been staying, and wrote in his journal. I used to think what I needed was a safe life, steady, predictable, under control. But now I see, impermanence isn't the enemy. It's a teacher. And sometimes, it's the only one willing to tell us the truth. Everything is temporary. We like to believe safety comes from stability. A steady job. Reliable income. A relationship that never changes. Health that doesn't decline. But then life happens. A storm. An accident. A late-night phone call. A layoff notice. A divorce letter. And we panic, because we believed life was supposed to go according to our plan. Michael used to think that way. He believed that if he planned carefully, saved enough, took care of everything just right, then he could hold on to it all. But when he lost everything, he finally understood. Everything passes. Jobs, money, even the idea of what a normal life, is supposed to look like. And strangely, that's not terrifying. One crisp autumn morning, Michael was walking through the park with his daughter. Leaves fell in gold waves. The air was cool. The smell of cinnamon waffles drifted from a nearby cafe. She looked up and hugged him. "I like today. Can we go for walks like this more often?" He nodded, but his eyes stung with tears. Because he knew, we don't get as many of these moments as we think. And that's why they're sacred. When we know everything ends, we stop clinging. Michael wrote, "I used to get angry in traffic. Now I watch the sunset through the windshield. I used to feel hurt when people forgot my birthday. Now I remember myself, and buy a small gift. I used to live like I had 100 years ahead. Now every second feels like a gift." And the strange thing was, living this way didn't make him weaker. It made him stronger than ever. Presence isn't about control, it's about love. Impermanence teaches us. Every hug might be the last. Every conversation might be the only time we hear those exact words. Every dinner, no matter how simple, could be one of the most meaningful moments of our life. Once we understand this, we stop rushing past the eyes of the one we love, tuning out when our kid tells us something silly, delaying the apology, forgetting to say thank you, holding back the words, "I love you." Live deeply, not to live long, but to live real. Some people live 90 years. But repeat the same day 33,000 times. Others live just 30 years. But every single day is a poem. Michael is no longer a financial consultant. He doesn't drive a luxury car. He doesn't wear designer clothes. But he knows how to sit in silence next to his wife. He knows how to listen. He knows how to walk with his daughter, and capture each moment in his heart. Not on his phone. He lives deeply. Not because he discovered some lofty philosophy, but because he finally understood something simple. Life doesn't owe me anything. Every breath is a gift. And I get to choose, cherish it, or waste it. A gift no one gets to keep forever. Impermanence hurts, because it takes away. But it also offers something we never notice. Until we've lost something. Every moment is precious. Every person is worthy of being cherished. Every presence has meaning, if we're willing to see it. Michael used to live to control. Now, he lives to feel. Part 4: The Stoic Lesson. Rebirth through what seems lost. Michael didn't go back to his old life. He didn't buy back the house he lost. He didn't return to his corporate job in downtown Chicago. He didn't try to become his old self again. Because he had come to understand. The goal isn't to get everything back. It's to know what's truly worth keeping. Don't rebuild the world, rebuild yourself. After 2 years living in his parents' dusty, damp basement, Michael wasn't the same man. The one who once believed, "I am my job." Now, he wakes up early, not to check emails, but to sit still. 5 minutes. No phone, no coffee, just breathing. He journals with his daughter, each with their own notebook. They don't read each other's pages. But through writing, they understand each other more. He's gone back to financial consulting. Not for the fees or the market goals, but because he knows financial instability can break a fragile mind. If that person isn't prepared from within, loss isn't the end, it's the beginning of rebirth. Michael once feared he had lost everything. His dignity, his ability to provide, his social status, his dream, the one he'd pursued for 15 years. But in that void, something began to grow. I thought I was dying, but really, I was shedding skin. I stopped chasing success and started walking toward meaning. Live to be present, not to prove. He once said, "I used to want my kids to be proud of me. Now, I just want to be with them, fully." No more entrepreneur-style advice. No more pressure to be better than the next guy. No need to do something big. Just a father and daughter, writing together in the quiet morning, and sometimes sharing a smile. And through that, they reconnected. Not through achievements, but through presence. Living in the present, that's the real gift. Stoicism never promises an easy life. It simply asks, when everything you thought mattered is gone, what's left? Michael no longer has it all, not in the way people usually mean. But now, he doesn't need to have it all. He has peace in the morning. He feels gratitude while brewing a hot cup of tea. His eyes light up when his daughter learns something new. He brings compassion to his work. Not just helping clients balance their finances, but helping them balance their lives. A different kind of success. Sometimes, Michael still thinks about his old life. The fancy car, the boardroom meetings, the numbers that once gave him pride. But he knows that's no longer his measure. These days, he wakes up and asks himself, am I living in alignment with my values? Am I truly present with the people who matter most? Did I do something today that helped ease someone's burden? And if the answer is yes, then that day is a success. No one gets to keep everything, but anyone can begin again. Michael is proof. You don't need to win life back to say you've won. He didn't return. He started over from a deeper place. A place where loss became a teacher. Where simplicity became freedom. And where presence became his greatest asset. I used to want to leave a legacy. Now, I just want to leave something true. That a man can lose everything. And if he doesn't lose himself, he hasn't really lost anything at all. Part 5 Conclusion. Today is a miracle. Right now, you might be worried about the future, Things that haven't happened but weigh heavy in your chest. Haunted by the past, regrets, missed chances, unsaid words. Consumed by what seems urgent, deadlines, bank balances, follower counts, other people's approval. But if you only had one day left to live, would you hold on to any of that? What would you do if today was the last? Would you call your mom, not because of something urgent, just to ask, "Hey mom, how are you? I miss you"? Would you sit next to your child a little longer, not to teach, not to correct, just to watch them smile? Would you forgive yourself for the times you failed, fell short, or didn't know better? Would you walk through the sunset, phone in your pocket, camera off, email ignored, just to thank the moment for existing? Memento Mori, remember, you will die. Sounds grim, doesn't it? But it's actually one of the most human, most powerful teachings in all of Stoicism. It's not meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up. Not to make you retreat, but to help you cherish every moment. Michael, the man who lost everything, came to realize this. You don't have to live a long life to live a deep one. Just knowing that today exists is already a miracle. A day that wasn't taken from you is a day to be grateful for. When Michael began journaling each morning, he didn't write 5-year plans. No financial targets. No big dreams. He simply wrote, "Today I get to breathe. Have breakfast with my wife. Watch my daughter tie her hair in front of the mirror. Hear birdsong outside the window." And each one was a tiny miracle. Life doesn't owe you anything, and still, it gives you so much. Stoicism doesn't teach you to sit around hoping for luck. It teaches you to notice what you already have, while you still have it. So look around you, right now. Maybe you're not rich, but you're still here. Maybe you're not perfect, but you're still learning. Maybe you're not recognized, but you're still capable of love. And that has never been a small thing. Tomorrow might not come. And that's okay. That truth isn't meant to scare you. It's just a reminder to be fully alive today. Call someone you've held a grudge against. Write one line of gratitude in your journal. Smile at a stranger. Place your hand on your chest and feel the heartbeat of life. You are still here. And that is the most beautiful thing. You don't have to change the world, just how you live each moment. Michael didn't save the world. He didn't write a best-selling book. He didn't give TED Talks. But he lived, every day, like it was a gift. And sometimes, that's more inspiring than anything you can say. You can live this way too. You don't need much. You just need to see clearly. If you've been living like you had forever, try living like today is enough. Comment below. If today were your last, what would you do differently? Tap like if this video spoke to you. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Freedom isn't out there, it's in the way you see. And if you know someone caught in the rush of life, send this to them. Because maybe the only thing they really need is a quiet reminder. Today is a miracle.